Welcome to Texas Motor Speedway, where today NASCAR's Busch Grand National Series takes center stage to inaugurate America's newest superspeedway, all built to Texas proportion. 150,000 seats, 194 luxury suites, $4 million purse for this first weekend. The big cars, the big stars for the most successful racing series on earth, ready to test themselves against this $120 million palace of speed. We even have ourselves a Texas-sized traffic jam for today. Traffic backed up over an hour and a half to get in here to see this Coca-Cola 300 to kick it all off. Everyone has been working to make for a perfect inaugural weekend, with the exception of one. Mother Nature dumping some 5 inches of rain in about 24 hours. And the results? Well, here's Dick Berggren with that story.
Well, Ken, new track blues have joined us here today in Texas. Turn 1, a big problem, a crack, a long, narrow crack has developed, apparently the result of some hydraulic fluid which was spilled on the racetrack. Now, just moments ago, the crews were out there with hammers. They pounded a combination of silicone and lime into the crack. They pounded it hard to get it in as deep as possible to prevent it from coming worse. Now, on top of that, they've put paint, all in the hope it's going to stay down. In addition, water. Water is seeping up through the racetrack and through the walls. The water should not be a problem. The drivers say it's not. But if that crack gets worse, it'll be a big problem. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Well, you know, because of all that loss of track time due to the rain delay, NASCAR gave the Winston Cup competitors an extra hour and 45 minutes of practice this morning. Terry Labonte, the 96 champ, was able to take advantage of that. Terry, how is the racetrack?
It's the same as it was the other day. There really wasn't no change on it. Really, the track's basically the same.
Terry Labonte will start 5th today. Up front, Mike Joy.
Thanks, Ralph. Jeff Green hopped into Gary Bechtel's car the start of the year, changed his color to white, changed his luck. Wow, 2 poles, a big win at Las Vegas, and today you drive off there into the great unknown, brand new racetrack. How about it?
It's great right now. We didn't have much practice, but I got a brand new race car. Chevrolet Monte Carlo's running good. Those B&R motors still perking along, you know, so we're looking for a good race. We just got to settle down here and see what this day offers. We didn't have much practice, so we're going to look for a good race. They said the track had a little problem up in one, but rode around there a while ago. Looked good to me. Hopefully we can get a good day for the fans.
Good luck, Jeff. The man he beat for the pole is his teammate, Elliott Sadler, the pole sitter at Daytona, turned the exact same qualifying time as Jeff Green. Now, Daytona, new track for Elliott, and here you are, new track again, your teammate right alongside. What are you going to think about these first few laps?
I tell you what, I think it's going to be very, very slick. You know, that was the main concern in drivers' meeting. Everybody wants to do a lot of giving and take. It's a long race. It's a hot day. Track's new to everybody, not much practice, so we just want to try to make all 200 laps, and we're going to try to let everybody in line and just ride a little while and just let the track come to us.
Everybody's concerned about these first few laps, getting in line in single file order. How are you going to get over to that inside lane?
I got Big Brother back there in 3rd place, and I let him in last week at Hickory, so he's supposed to let me in today. So we're just going to a lot of give and take, and we've already talked to Terry Labonte and Buckshot, and we're just all just going to get together, get in a single file line, and see if we can get away a little bit, and then we'll try to decide it amongst ourselves for a while.
And Ken Squire, that's the strategy before the flag drops. Let's go upstairs.
Thank you, Mike. 42 drivers ready for this inaugural race. The challenge of the unknown. That's the story here today for these Grand National stars. And to cover it with us, I'm joined by 84-time Winston Cup winner Darrell Waltrip and Ned Jarrett, 2-time Grand National champion along. Ned, everybody talks about this track as the comparison to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, both 1.5 miles.
When they started building this racetrack, Ken, they said they were going to build a duplicate of Charlotte Motor Speedway. But when the drivers got here, it wasn't exactly the same. Well, start to start, finish line, you go down in turn 1, there's where that little problem is. Then there's 24 degrees of banking, just like Charlotte, 5 degrees down the back stretch, then 24 degrees through turns 3 and 4. Little tough spot coming off turn 4, very tight coming off of that racetrack. Now, Darrell Waltrip, you've been out on this racetrack driving. Is it like Charlotte?
Big surprise, Ned. Everybody came here thinking that it was going to be a Charlotte track, set the car up same way, same gear, everything. It's not anywhere near that. It's a new frontier for everybody. And my heart is pounding 100 miles an hour right now thinking about these poor guys that got to go off on this racetrack with very limited practice on a track that has turned out to be very, very difficult.
Yes, for these Grand National stars, just 1.5 hours of practice. They really haven't worked any groove but the bottom of the racetrack. So skimpy research on this challenge of the unknown. Now, Ricky Craven, injured here 2 days ago. A very hard crash out of turn number 4 at 190 miles per hour. Socked the wall, then spun into it again. There is better news today about Newburgh, Maine's Ricky Craven, who you see being removed from that car back on Thursday. A new scan has shown a calcium deposit on the brain. It was not what they originally thought. They were thinking that it was a far more serious condition. Broken shoulder, a ruptured eardrum, maybe a rib or two that's bent. But he says he's ready for Bristol next Saturday. We'll have to see about that Saturday and Sunday.
I don't think so, Kenny. Bristol's just about as tough as this place is going to turn out to be.
Let's take a look at some of the people to watch out here today. No wins, but he's up on top in the points. That's Todd Bodine, who's having an incredible year in Grand National Racing. Could be a real factor on this one.
Yeah, well, there's the guy there that you got to always put your money on. He's starting back in about 20th spot, I think, but he wins every race that he runs just about in that car. And he's done the tire testing here for Goodyear. He's got a lot of laps around here, so I got to put my money on old Mark again today.
But the consummate racer, the one who finally pulled it off, I guess you call him Mr. Trickle now, 55 years of age, winner at Hickory last week, and will be a strong contender here today.
And there's a guy starting pretty far back in the field is Michael Waltrip, Darrell's younger brother. He has had some awfully good runs so far this year in the Busch Series, and don't be surprised to see him come up through this pack. He has a good race car.
Now, because of the limited time they've had on the track, the story looks to be in the pits. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Michael Waltrip was one of those drivers that was able to take advantage of that hour and 45-minute practice this morning. Michael, how was the track? What did you think of it?
I thought it was about the same as it was yesterday, or the day before, excuse me. Just not real good, not a lot of room to race. But, you know, we'll try our best to make a good show out of it. Starting way in the back, but we've been able to get to the front in these races this year. Painted my car gold today, so nobody know I was qualifying it so poorly. But we're in the back selling some Band-Aids. Got a coupon in the paper tomorrow. Get you on. It's Buffy's birthday. Happy birthday.
To Dick Bergeron.
Well, Michael Waltrip said it well. The big concern here is no room to pass, very hard to pass. Hey, I'll tell you what, there is one place everybody can pass, and it is right here in the pits. These guys, the guys who fuel the cars, the guys who change the tires, are always important, but never more so than today, because a lot of passing and a lot of positions are going to be lost right here in the pits.
The man who put it all together, about to put it all in line, in order for a start, Mr. Bruton Smith, who created this facility.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
The call rings out for the first time over Texas Motor Speedway. $780,000, 300 miles to be tested today with the Grand National Stars of NASCAR. We'll be back with the starting lineup shortly. Look at the inaugural starting lineup as they're just about ready to roll out for 3 preliminary laps before they turn them loose. Front row, team cars from Bechtel for the 3rd straight race. It's Jeff Green this time, Elliott Sadler alongside, and they had identical qualifying times right to the 100th of a second. In row number 2 today is Hermie Sadler, and from Norcross, Georgia, Buckshot Jones. Row 3, defending Winston Cup champion Terry Labonte and Steve Park. Row 4 is Elton Sawyer and Phil Parsons. In row 5, a Texan, Bobby Labonte, is there with Tim Fedowa. In row 6, Mike McLaughlin and Glenn Ellen. Row 7, Tim Bender and Jeff Burton. For row 8, the winner last week at Hickory from Wisconsin, Dick Trickle and Lyndon Amick. Row 9, the current leader of the point standings, Todd Bodine with Michael Dillon. The 10th row is Jimmy Foster from Daytona Beach and Mark Martin, winner of 3 races this year. Row 11, number 74, last year's national champion Randy LaJoy and Tim Steele. Row 12 is Kevin LePage and Jimmy Spencer. In row 13, it's Shane Hall and Tracy Leslie. Row 14, there you have Jason Keller and Johnny Chapman. The 15th row is Mark Green and Dale Jarrett. Row 16 today is Greg Sachs and Jeff Fuller. It's Joe Bessie and Dennis Setzer for row 17. In the 18th row, Ron Barfield Jr. and Michael Waltrip. Row 19, Mark Day is there and Stevie Reeves. The 20th row, Jerry Robertson and Randy Porter, provisional starters, as are Doug Reed III and Jeff McClure, rounding out the field for this 200-lap encounter. Take a look at those that failed to make the field.
It's always sad to see anyone have to go home, and especially with a big purse like they're running here. Kenny Irwin Jr., Mike Olson. Kenny Wallace was scheduled to drive Ricky Craven's car, but they didn't qualify fast enough to make it into the field.
Kenny Wallace trying that shot for Ricky Craven. Watching today. Hope you're feeling better, Ricky.
And of course, there was no second round for qualifying because of the weather yesterday. See, we have 24 Chevrolets, 13 Fords, and 5 Pontiacs in the field.
Take a look at the race analysis here, Ned.
42 starters, 200 laps on this mile-and-a-half track, makes up 300 miles, and that purse, as you said, over $780,000.
Yeah, that's a big purse. That's a lot of money for these guys to race for. Of course, it's a 300-mile race, and it's going to be a hard day's work.
Tell us about that track.
Well, you know, it's a 1.5-mile quad oval, they call it. It's not quite a tri-oval, I don't think. But the banking in the turns is 24 degrees, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's much less. The back straightaway, it's got a good bit of banking on it. If you get in trouble back there, you're going to slide right down to that inside guardrail. And, of course, around the front here, it's about 5 degrees of banking. So the track is incredibly fast because it has so much grip. It's a brand-new surface, and these tires are sticking like glue. And the guys can really do a lot of things with the race cars other than get out of that bottom groove. And I don't know how that's going to work.
Take a look at a car comparison here and take us through it, if you would, Darrell.
Yeah, a Grand National car, a lot of people, they look the same. The bodies are the same. They're both Thunderbirds. That's Mark's Cup car and versus his his Busch car. The biggest difference in the compression ratio. Winston Cup motor has 14-to-1, and the Grand National has a 9.5-to-1. That makes a lot of difference in the horsepower, plus the carburetor. You got a 390 carburetor on a Busch car. You got an unlimited almost carburetor, an 850 or so on a Winston Cup. 720 horsepower versus about 520 horsepower, and they run within a second of each other. So obviously horsepower is not the big factor. It's how you get around the racetrack and how the car handles.
Having horsepower is important, but you got to put it to work.
You got to get it on the ground.
So how are you going to move somebody that's out back, 21st position like Randy LaJoie today, or further back Dale Jarrett, to charge for that big prize out here and win this first race?
I think you heard all the drivers say, and I'm glad to hear them say, hey, we've all talked it over. We know we got to get in single file. This is going to be a little bit of an expedition here. We're on a new frontier, and we got to plow some new ground and see how it's going to go.
Let's hope they don't plow up any walls before this afternoon is over.
Well, I got a feeling there's going to be a testing of those boys, too.
Field coming by, pace car dropping off, and we're ready to start the first race at Texas Motor Speedway. Grand National ranks coming to the line.
And there was trouble at the back of the field already. One car has gotten into the wall as a result of some scrambles back there at the back.
Able to pick it up and keep on going.
Jeff McClure in the 77 car got pushed up into the wall just on the restart before they got to the start-finish line.
Yeah, and he did a lot of damage to the car. The whole right side of the car is flattened out. That turn 4 is real treacherous, and I think that shows it was no faster than they were going.
29.991, 180.054. Absolutely equal time for those two leaders. Try to get themselves away, but it's Buckshot Jones that's making the moves here early in this going.
Well, as you can see, the cars back there, the first two kind of got out away from everybody else, but there's a car off in turn 2 there already that's going to lose a lot of track position because he got out of the groove.
Jeff Green, who sat on the pole, out in front and right behind him, tucked right in there. Here come the rest of those. Look at Steve Clark in number 3, working his way on the bottom. That one trying the high side already.
He's sort of slipping up there. That's the car number 5 of Terry Labonte.
Actually, what happened, I started off at turn 2. He got up high, and he just couldn't ever get back down. And he's lucky to get back in line as quick as he did. So there's a car going around back in there. Again, is making some pretty good moves on the outside. So this is going to be the interesting thing to see is how this outside groove is going to come in and how soon it will help them make some good passes.
Here comes Jeff Green out in front and the field following. He is set on the pole one other time this year, and he won from there in Las Vegas. Take a look at what happened at the start in the back of the pack.
Now look at the right of your screen. You see a car down on the inside. He got his wheels down on the grass, and then other cars trying to avoid him moved Jeff McClure right up into the wall. He hit that wall, as Darrell said, pretty hard, so he has coasted around to the pits, and let's go to the pits and Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Ned, the video is not live because that is exactly what Jeff McClure radioed into his crew, that he got pushed up into the wall from the car in front of him. They are now going to work on the front of the car on the right side, trying to bang the sheet metal away so they can keep it away from the tires, keep it from rubbing on those Goodyear tires and cutting one down.
Up in front, Green is there. Elliott Sadler in second, Hermie Sadler in third. It's Park in fourth.
There's one thing you're gonna find: the track doesn't slow down. The tire is excellent. The track's got a lot of grip. It doesn't slow down. This is going to be a very physically demanding race. These guys have got to run 300 miles. We've got to run 500 tomorrow. And drivers are already working on their seats and headrest and trying to get themselves real comfortable in the car, because this is going to be a hard day's work.
Everybody's staying down. And
oh, here we go.
Final. We got one in trouble coming out of 4. It's car number 40 sliding down across the grass. Jerry Robertson all the way through the tri-oval, and caution.
Not out yet.
Not out
They're
yet.
waiting to see. He's still moving, trying to get that thing going. Here come the leaders off turn 4. Caution is out.
Yellow out for the first time. At lap 6, green brings them across. Elliott Sadler in second. Hermie Sadler, his older brother, in third. And you have Steve Park there in fourth as they come back to the line. Just behind them, as they swung off that corner, Elton Sawyer had found himself fifth, followed by Buckshot Jones and Parsons in seventh.
You know, Ken, this is from a driver's perspective, this is really a good thing to have happen. You've run 5 or 6 laps. Now you can really slow down here a second. You can think, you can get your thoughts together. You can tell your crew how your car feels, and you can really get your composure, because everybody was real nervous on the start of this race.
Take a look at what happens here. Robertson gets down on the inside. Looked like he got his wheels down on the grass there, and not much traction on that grass. As you can see, he shoots right across into the other grassed area. Tries to come back up on the racetrack, but fortunately by that time there's only one other car behind him, so everybody got by. No damage as far as anyone else is concerned, and it doesn't look like much damage to his car.
No, and people always say, what can you do when you get in a spin? Well, he did the right things. He kept those wheels turned to the left, and he locked her down.
Through the double dog leg, backwards that time.
Okay, he had a little help there.
Yeah, he did.
That was Barfield.
Barfield, yeah.
He had trouble at the start of the race.
Yeah.
Remember, he was the one down on the inside.
Yeah, Barfield's struggling a little bit right now.
And you can see there is a little damage on the right side of the car number 40.
Under caution, we'll take a quick commercial break and be back to more of the Coca-Cola 300. At the new Texas Motor Speedway, giving you some idea of this incredible facility. I don't mean to overstate that, but you can see for yourself, this is something. While you're riding with Terry Labonte, one of our onboard cameras today, looking for his 11th Grand National win today. Terry Labonte for that 1-800-MARROW-2 number. We'll tell you more about that as the day progresses.
And here's Phil Parsons looking out his windshield. Phil in second place in the point standing right now.
And there you see Mike McLaughlin in the number 34. He's been having some great runs recently. Royal Oak, Cool's pump car.
Here's Jeff Burton, the track gear car number 9. Boy, he has had some great runs this year. Came so close to winning a number of races, so he's going to give us a good ride today.
And he's right alongside Todd Bodine as we get ready. Back in 15th position at the present time is Todd, who hasn't finished out of the top 10 yet this year.
And here's Mark Martin, the guy who has won 3 of 5 races so far this year in the Winn-Dixie Ford.
He's back in 21st at this moment. And here you see Randy LaJoie. Randy LaJoie, defending national champion, came out in the 21st position today in that FINA car. Trying to get it sorted out. Move Steve Bird's engineering toward the front. He's well back in
22nd position.
22nd position. Dropped one from where he started.
Yeah, he had a crash, you know, and he was going to try to run the Winston Cup race and had to crash out here on Thursday. So he can put all of his attention into today's race. And he's not always a great qualifier, but he'll be there at the end.
First caution of the day coming 6 laps into the event.
There's Terry Labonte watching Phil Parsons up in front of him. You see Terry moving his steering wheel back and forth, and Darrell, what they're doing is trying to clean those tires off a little bit.
Yeah, these tires are so sticky, and this is a new surface, and there's some concern about the surface, you know, and how long it's going to last. Everybody's kind of worried that it's so good, can it last or not? So they're just knocking the dirt and sand and what rubber they've already picked up off of those tires, so when they get a restart, the car will stick like they want it to.
You saw that phone number in there for 1-800-MARROW-2 for Terry Labonte. Running today, giving up his purse to help support this campaign. Coca-Cola 300 here today. All of his winnings go to the National Bone Marrow Donor Drive.
program that's congressionally authorized, nationwide computerized data bank of potential narrow donors in the battle against some forms of leukemia, lymphomia, and the immune system diseases.
Here's a situation, Ken, where Rick Hendrick, we all know, has the problem, and everybody is rallied, and he's taking something good, something bad, and trying to turn it into something good. He's taking something that's happened to him and trying to turn it into something good for everybody else.
They say on any given day there are some 2,000 men, women, and children for whom a transplant is the only hope for survival. And 1-800-NARROW-2 would be the number to call if you care to be a donor. Let's go to Mike Joy.
I'm with Bob Labonte, who runs the pit for his older son, Winston Cup champ Terry. Bob, Terry dropped a bunch of positions at the start. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's all right. You know, the Alka-Seltzer car was behind that one car, and for some reason or other, Hermie got off the gas. Terry had to hit the brakes, keep him run over him. Then when he got down in the other corner, that 00 got into him, kind of halfway spun him out. But he's all right. He just, we just ride our time. Of course, not having no practice don't help.
Now, it was a long time before anybody let him in line, and by coincidence, maybe, it was your other son, Bobby, who let Terry in.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, sometimes it's good to be the dad, because Bob Labonte can talk to both his sons on the radio. They can't talk back, Ken.
And I guarantee he does know about that, too. That guy, he knows about everything.
Well, there you see them. The 5 and the 44 getting straightened away to get back at it here again. Hey, next Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern, get a special look at the life and development of a budding superstar in Tiger Woods, son, hero, and champion. Jim Nance narrates with exclusive family movies and interviews with Tiger Woods, Earl, and Mrs. Woods, as well as Arnie. Byron Nelson's going to be there. Jack Nicklaus is going to be along. A lot more. So plan on that for next Sunday at 3 Eastern.
Getting ready for
the first to be held at the new Texas Motor Speedway.
This place is big, isn't it? Oh, look at that infield. That's the first time I've been up this high where I can see everything. It's incredible.
Not many other words for it. Getting set on a restart. Jeff Green leading the way. Fourth last week at Hickory. Elliott Sadler was right there. His brother Hermie right behind him. Then Steve Park comes in fourth as we get set to turn this one loose.
You know, Steve Park really has not had that great a start to the season, but he's got a Ron Hutter engine in that car this weekend, and that's really made a difference. Qualifying up front, he's running really well, so that's made a big difference in his performance.
Indeed, it has. 6 of these 42 starters are running those Hutter engines. A lot of dependability built into them. A lot of people have great faith for the Grand National race, and we should talk more sometime about how well they've developed these motors. What, only 11 breakdowns, 11 engine failures in the entire first 7 races of the year? Speaks well for these people who put these cars together.
Okay, here we go. See a couple of cars back there trying to move up on the outside, getting a running start. They're getting a little braver, Darrell.
Yeah, they are. You got to try it. You get a good head of steam up, and you know you don't want to lift, so you got to try to go on the outside. Boy, I'm still a little nervous about that myself, and I'm sure the guys out there are more than I am.
Well, it's interesting. Coming off that turn 2, you don't carry all the way to the wall. You sure do in turn 4. So there is a little room out there. Of course, that was still in a warm-up lap, but even so, they're down a few feet. If you can get your nose in, you got a shot at it.
There's Tim Bender caught up on the outside in the car number 17. Number of cars going by him. There's Mark Martin going by on the inside. Mike Dillon right in front in the car 72.
And keep your eye on that number 64, Dick Trickle, 14th position, that red and yellow car. He'll take it to the outside anywhere he runs. New track, fresh.
Got a trouble in the back straightaway. Big trouble.
In the back chute, caution will be coming out, I believe. As they come back to the line, yellow is down for the 2nd time. And there you see the Jimmy Foster car, youngster out of Daytona Beach, pressed into the wall.
Yeah, that all started because he got out of line, and I think somebody got into the back of him, the best I could tell from here.
That happens at lap 16. Jimmy Foster in trouble. He rolls away, crinkles up the back of it.
Disappointment for that young man. Very talented young driver.
Came up out of the go-karts and the Legends Series. Did a lot of Legends racing for his grandfather, Jim Foster.
The Goodies Dash Series.
Take a look at what happens here.
He just gets out wide coming off that corner. Looks like it just kind of breaks loose with him, actually.
Kevin LePage went by on the inside.
I don't think anybody hit him, didn't it?
I don't think so. It didn't look like it.
Like the thing got to wobbling with it.
And you see those roof flaps came right up there the way that they're designed to do. And that helped to keep the back end of the car on the ground once it turned backwards. You see the damage there on the right rear quarter panel of this car.
CBS Sports coverage of this inaugural Coca-Cola 300 continues after this message and a word from your local station. Yes, Sports Line rolls on. Get online. Stay on top of your favorite sports with updates, breaking news, scores, and more. It's all at cbs.sportsline.com. Jimmy Foster back in the garage. And let's go to Dick Berggren for more.
Well, it's a disappointing day for this young 20-year-old driver, Ken. When he bounced it off the wall, the biggest problem was he bent a lot of the suspension up front. They tried to align it on pit road, but it was too damaged for that. So they've got it in the garage now, put up, crew pouring over it, but he's already down laps.
Race 8 of 30, and we're 1 lap away from getting green. Get this resumed at lap 19. At lap 15 when the altercation took place off turn 2 and down the back straightaway for Jimmy Foster.
Yeah, I think everybody knows if you venture up out of that bottom groove, it could be a great adventure. So everybody's still kind of tippy-toeing along the bottom. A few brave souls have gone to the outside, but so far hadn't been very impressive.
Out in front, Jeff Green, former Nashville track champion, down from Owensboro, Kentucky. That seems to be a pretty natural thing to have happen in that part of the world.
Yeah, you know, all the Green boys, there's 3 of them out there, and Mark and Jeff and David's in the Winston Cup. And I mean, these guys are all from Owensboro, me and Michael and some other guys. So I still think it's in the water. I really do.
All of this a prelude to tomorrow's 500-mile Interstate Batteries test, and Mike Joy is with one of the principals.
I found a salaried tourist here, Ken. Sterling Marlin, what do you think of what you're seeing in these early laps here? What's it going to mean for tomorrow?
Well, we don't know. I've been down in the corner just watching, and we're still behind. We're not handling real good, and you know, trying to figure out what to do with the Kodak Chevy and make it better. And I've been down in the corner just watching and trying to learn, and we got to get better. It's a big paying race.
We're back to green.
Over $3 million big paying race tomorrow, and you'll see it here on CBS.
Yeah, you know, last place guy in this race tomorrow gets $35,000. That's a pretty good start in payday.
You've won a lot of races, didn't pay that much.
You got that right.
Jeff Green.
I ran several seasons, didn't pay that much.
Elliott Sadler second, Hermie Sadler third on that start, Steve Park fourth. Going to double up a little. In fifth, Elton Sawyer. Then Buckshot Jones, Phil Parsons, Terry Labonte back there in 8th, Bobby Labonte with him, Glenn Allen in 10th, Tim Fedewa up to 10th. Up to 11th, Tim Fedewa.
You know, the guys at the front of the field, they can kind of take it easy and follow each other, but it's the guys that have got fast cars that didn't maybe have a good qualifying run. They're the ones that are being challenged because they want to get by some of the slower cars that they know they can outrun, and boy, there's just hardly any place to do it. All these guys up front, they're just minding their manners right now. They're kind of following each other and seeing what the track's going to do and how the cars are going to end up handling.
When they go down into turns 1 and 2 on this track, where they're headed right now, there is an area that has been repaved. You see it right there, that black section. We'll get to it again. Comes speeding by there. You see it. And when you get up there in that second lane, up about 7 or 8 feet off the bottom, do you notice anything there, Derek?
Yeah, you do. There's just no rubber there, Ken. The track has got very little running time on it. And the weather kept us from getting a lot of cars out there and doing our normal race setup. So we just need to get these cars up on the higher side of the racetrack. It's going to change this racetrack dramatically when they do.
Elton Sawyer in that number 38. Tucked right in and coming along, pulling up on Hermie Sadler in the yellow number 1. And you see Steve Park, the number 3. He's back there in 5th. Buckshot Jones, the 00, rides in 6th. Phil Parsons, who's had just an incredible year, only about 1 mile. He hasn't completed in 7 races as we go into today. A little bad luck down there at Hickory, but he's been on the nickel, dropped back to 3rd in the point standings. Coming into today's battle, Randy LaJoy, 38 points out of 1st, behind Todd Bodine as we come to this 8th event of the season.
Well, you know, Phil has a good sponsor in the Channel Lock and all, and he's got a good team, but you got to realize he's not got the pockets like maybe Bechtel or the Brace team that has, you know, LaJoy and those guys.
Take a look at Elton Sawyer in for 12th.
Just trying to size him up, trying to find himself a place to maybe make a pass. They haven't figured that out yet.
No, they haven't. It's a matter of time, and really that's why it reminds you a lot of Darlington. You got to find a place to pass, and you got to time it to catch the guy at the right place. That's just what Jeff's trying to do right there now.
There you see Jeff Burton. Where is the right place to get by somebody on this track?
Well, it looks like, you know, getting off of one of these corners and getting the nose alongside of them and kind of forcing them up out of the groove as you get down to turn 1 or 2 or 3. But you got to be mighty sure that guy's going to give you that line when you put that nose in there. You might pull something back. It won't be what you wanted.
Won't look quite the same as when it started.
It won't be what you stuck in.
Look at Burton fading inside and out as he's trying to find any kind of distance to make a move on Mike McLaughlin.
Well, he's faster than Mike. You just got to find that place.
Whoa, came awfully close there.
He may have made some room for himself.
Well, you get to, when you come off of turn 4 there, oh, there's a car spinning off turn 4. That's that 40 car again.
Doug Reed just started to pit, and then the number 40 breaks away and slides down out of the 4th turn area. That's Jerry Robertson, who started in the back of the field, and he brings out the 3rd caution of the day as he slams the wall.
Stevie Reeves made a 360 also, but he kept going. This is the car number 40 here that we're...
I don't
think that's Lyndon Amick.
Yeah.
In the 35
right.
He slapped the wall.
Yes.
See, there's another one of those, what do they call them, baby grand cars, Ned?
Goody's Dash
Goody's Dash Series. He came out of that series from last year, too.
He was the champion.
Him and Jimmy Foster, and they're finding they're going a little rough here.
19-year-old Amick into the wall, coming off 4. Started in the 16th position today. Hoping to improve on a 35th, which had been his best over at Atlanta a little earlier on in the season.
Yeah, he's a good kid, and he's had some pretty good success in the Goody's Dash Series. But, boy, I tell you, when you step up to this division, it's hard. It's hard to make that change.
Fortunately, the car stays up next to the wall as other cars go by on the inside. Let's see if we see Stevie Reeves come into the picture, because he was doing a 360 there. We saw the back end of his car. There we see Stevie's car up on the high side of the racetrack, spinning down to the inside as Amick stays up next to the wall.
Reeves able to continue. He moved around. Amick's car in trouble. On the pit here. We're under the 3rd caution of the day, and we'll be back in a moment.
Well, this race has really been tough on the guys without a lot of experience, Ken. Lyndon Amick has just pulled his car down into the garage. This was only his 5th career start. He was the youngest guy in the field, and that car is absolutely beat up and bashed. They've got a lot of work to do on both sides to get him back out in the contest.
It's going to be rough on this track.
Yeah, well, trying to go back out and ride around on a track that's this fast and without the option of another groove, it's really smart just to park the car, because he'd just be in the way. After not many laps, he'd be lapping him again. So that's a good move.
Riding with the Fina car, Randy LaJoie. He's picked up a couple of notches. He's into 19th. 1 to go, Ned.
One to go. We'll be racing again.
Here's Mike Joy.
Steve Bird is team manager for Randy LaJoie. Had a bad qualifying time, and he just got up on the leaderboard. He's in 19th spot. Is it really tough for him to pass cars out there, and how frustrated is he?
No, everything's pretty cool. If you hit the wall as high as he did now, once the Cup guy, you'd be a little hesitant qualifying too. But no, he says he's fine here. We don't know what the racetrack's going to do. It's a long day, so we're just playing it cool here. There's plenty of laps. I've asked him 2 or 3 times. He says he feels real good here, and there ain't no sense of being in no hurry here right now.
But he is such a charger. How do you hold him back?
I don't think you've seen him charge too much since he's been here at Base Motorsports. He does a good job. He's smart. He's learned,
and they've got a championship and a Daytona win to show for it, Ken.
There you see LaJoie. Steve Bird used to be in a track announcer. He's about 14, 15 years old. That's Steve Bird. That's the crew chief on that rig.
Really?
And he not only talks a good game, but he certainly builds a great car. Now, there you see Michael Waltrip. He has come from 36, and he's worked his way up through the field into what, 21st or so? He is flying 23rd.
Yeah, and I told him, I said, Michael, I said, you've finally done it. I think that's the ugliest car I've ever seen.
Oh, come on. That looks
and he said, but it'll sell Band-Aids, and that's all I care.
Yeah. That looks like the old terminal transport car.
And that was a pretty ugly car.
Going back to the early days of Darrell Waltrip's career. All right, restart on lap 32, as you see, and the lead stabilized with Jeff Green, Elliott Sadler, Hermie Sadler, 1, 2, 3. Elton Sawyer back there in 4th, and Steve Park. And they're all willing to play a waiting game in the early part of this. But for these Grand National stars, $780,000 is going to start looking bigger and better as these laps roll along.
Yeah, but they just came off of a little, what, 3/8 mile track at Hickory. And, you know, they got 200 laps to run here today, so they know they can take their time. They got a lot of things going to happen.
Buckshot Jones trying to move under the yellow number 1. Hermie Sadler, as they came through the dogleg, the double dogleg here on this 1.5 mile Texas Motor Speedway. Tomorrow, the Interstate Batteries 500 live on CBS. Hope you'll be here to enjoy it. Now you see Buckshot Jones, the Norcross, Georgia youngster, down to the inside. He finds a hole, and everybody's coming with him. No room for Hermie Sadler.
Yeah, once he got him in that side groove, the train just came by down on the inside. Not a great deal he could do about it. No. And they're still coming at him, too.
No, it's just now for him as spotter to say, let me know when they're all by me so I know it's clear, because that's what is going to happen.
Looks like it might have had a little shot there behind Bobby Labonte, a little bit of open space there, but it didn't get down in it, and it's really costing him.
Yeah, he's just going so fast, Ned, you can't take a chance on cutting down.
From Phil Parsons' view, he's now in 6th spot. Now the lap cars are up on the outside. Maybe they'll wear some rubber in here before the day's over, Ned.
That was Doug Reed III that they were passing, and yeah, anytime you get cars up there on that outside, it's helpful in developing another groove.
But right now, the groove, the patch where these cars will work is about 5 feet wide, and you go in there about 183, 184 miles an hour, and you want to hit it right, because if you're wrong, it's Hello Walls, the old Farron Young song.
Yeah, Hermie Sadler went from running 3rd to 17th in 1 lap.
While you're watching that number 10, that blue number 10 is Phil Parsons. And what a run he has been having all season long, staying right up there in the top 3. Now looking back through the field a bit. See him come by, and directly behind you've got Jones, and we've got one slowing in the backstretch, and that looks like that 77, is it not?
And there's Jimmy Foster.
And Jimmy Foster rolling around.
A lot of smoke coming from Jimmy Foster's car, number 11.
Meanwhile, Jeff Green stays the course up in front, and they're beginning to do the tighten up for these front running positions. Elliott Sadler is there. Here comes Buckshot, and he looks like he wants to do business on the bottom. Got it. That's Elton Sawyer pulling through. Correction, I think I said Buckshot Jones. Give it to Elton Sawyer for 2nd spot, and bring Steve Park, number 3, into 3rd place.
Once car number 29, Elliott Sadler, once he got up there in that groove, he didn't fight it. He let him go. Once they got down on the inside of it, that was a smart thing to do. Sit there and ride and learn from them.
Yeah, I've been watching this race right here, and these two guys are proving that you can run side by side. I don't know how long you can run side by side, but they've been that way for the last couple of laps.
Craig Sachs on the inside.
And that's Tim Steele in James Finch's car there on the outside. And they run a couple of laps there side by side and was not slowing down.
He's only had 3 rides in that number 4 car, but we've seen him win at Michigan and Atlanta, at Talladega in ARCA races, and Tim Steele makes the move, replaces Jeff Purvis in that number 4. He continues to bring it along up through.
Yeah, he had a great run at Las Vegas in that car. I think he finished 5th, I believe it was. And that's really what got him to ride. So he looks like he does a little better on the super speedways than he did somewhere like Hickory last week.
Here's Dick Berggren.
Hey, Darrell, I'll tell you a guy that's really looking good on this super speedway is Elton Sawyer. Started in 7th position, and he has just taken the lead from 7th all the way up to 1st. About 15 laps ago, he called into his crew, and he said, boys, we have got one stout motor under the hood here. They've also got the car here that they led 45 laps in Atlanta with. Strong car. They say the best motor they ever had, and Elton is in the lead.
You can see him pulling away from Jeff Green big time now.
Yeah, that's a Yates. You know, we talk about Hutters and V&Rs, but don't forget about Yates either. He makes a pretty good bunch of power, too.
Steve Park just took over 2nd place. Going into turn 3. So, passing is happening.
Jeff Green in that white number 8 falls back into 3rd. Looking a little further back, Elliott Sadler is in 4th. Then Parsons in that light blue car coming by the channel lock number 10. Finds himself still in the thick of this thing in 5th. Terry Labonte, number 5, comes up into 6th spot.
Well, that's interesting. I just see a ambulance going out on the racetrack in turn 1. What's that all about?
Wow.
down at the bottom of the track. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Jeff McClure just pulled the 77 behind the wall and sat right down here just on the pit road, and you've been playing with your left leg over there. Is it okay? You all right?
Yeah, I just bumped it a little bit. Been a pretty tough week for the Lear Ford here. We thought we had a pretty good car, and I sort of screwed us up qualifying a little bit, so we started back here in the rear and started a race. Doug Reed just turned right and run us straight in the fence, and it bent up some of the steering parts on it. We tried to get it fixed right quick and get back out there, but obviously something broke and ended our day.
What do you think of the racetrack so far? How is it?
It's a nice racetrack. It's a little tight in spots, but the problems we have was just more or less stupidity. You know, it wasn't nothing about the race facility at all. You know, I love the racetrack. It's a beautiful facility. Bruton's done a super job, I think. I'm looking forward to coming back next year because obviously we ain't going to get to do no more today.
Jeff McClure done for the day.
We saw an ambulance pull out there and try to get a little racy. They were under green, and here it is down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Well, it's a new racetrack. He probably didn't know where he was going.
No, you know what else is there's rookies everywhere around here. Some on the racetrack, some in the infield, some on the safety crew, look like.
So we're under caution for the 4th time, right? 4.
Yeah, here comes Terry Labonte down pit road, and that's the first one of the really fast leading cars that we've seen on pit road, Ken. So they've run 42 laps. They're going to have to be looking at pit stops for too much longer.
I'm surprised that more haven't come down pit road, especially those back towards the back where they wouldn't have that much to lose.
There's a lot of things that are, we don't know about the tire wear. It looks like it's going to be great. We don't know a lot of things, and so I would have been wanting to get down on the pit lane, let the crew take a look at everything.
63 miles.
Making a big adjustment there on Terry Labonte's car.
I believe this racetrack will go through a tremendous change after this race today because, again, it's new and the surfaces, and they get some rubber down this thing. It's going to change the way it feels.
Mike Joy.
Ken, Terry Labonte was complaining about the handling of his car, and he said, how many rounds of wedge can you give me? And his dad radioed back and said, we can only give you about 6 turns on a caution. That's about all you can get there. So, well, come on and let's put one of the 3 sets of tires that they're allowed on the car. And Labonte, after a major chassis adjustment at the rear, goes back out. Now, we've heard that Elliott Sadler may have a right rear tire going down, so this caution could be extremely beneficial to the rookie. Ralph Shaheen.
Mike Joy. Dale Jarrett is running right where he started this race in 30th position on the lead lap. Now he's holding back on purpose. The car seems to be okay, but he is purposely running slower and higher, building his own second groove, just like a beaver would build a dam to help himself out. Dale is planning on later on in the race going up higher, getting faster, and maybe using that outside line.
Well, that's something that, a lot of us do. I know at Atlanta, I do that a lot of times. I'll get up on that outside, and sooner or later, it'll pay off for you.
There's Jarrett now. He decided to come into the pits.
Well, he may have worn his tires out up there in that new surface that hadn't been run on very much. He may want to take a look at it. I know we keep talking a lot, and I hope the folks at home aren't getting irritated with us talking about that other groove. But when you've only got a 1-lane racetrack and it's brand new like this, there's so many things that the guys can't do that they want to do, and it really opens the door for a lot of problems.
One of the things we should mention, too, as you look here at this green flag to get on pit road, there is a second speedway underneath that 24-degree banking. It is an 8-degree area where they intend to run the Indianapolis cars. So I think the fellas use it a lot as a big, wide apron down there. And they have told these drivers if they're going to come onto pit road to come in at turn 3. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Ken, they're just completing the tire change on the White Rain Ford of Dale Jarrett. They changed 4 tires and got him back out on the racetrack with a full fuel load.
A couple of things I might take a quick look at here. Mark Martin's up to 12th place. He started 20th, and Uncle Mike here is up to 21st and starting 36th. So, Michael started way back in 30-something at Las Vegas, and at the end about 30 or 40 laps, he was running in the top 5. So I don't know what his qualifying problems are, but he's got a good race car for the race.
Well, there you see Mark Martin's number 60 that made those moves to get him up to 12th. And let's go back to Mike Joy.
And everybody down here is ready. There's tires up on the wall. There's air wrenches in hand, been cleaned out. And the man who's in control of this whole dance is Elton Sawyer. Sawyer's the leader. If he pits, everybody will pit. If he stays out, we've seen already the track position is so important, everybody else will have to stay out too unless they have a major problem. Now, Elliott Sadler radioed in. He thought he had a right rear flat. Spotter, everybody else looked at it and said, looks okay. He wiggled it around. He's going to stay out. Thinks it'll be all right.
See, Elton Sawyer's number 38. They're coming up for a green this time by, we're being told.
Let's go to Dick Bergen for more on Elton Sawyer.
Well, I'm kind of standing between Elton Sawyer's pit. He's the leader of the race, and Todd Bodine's pit. He's the series point leader. And they are indeed playing monkey see, monkey do. The only problem Sawyer has complained about all day so far, he doesn't like the gear in the car. He thinks it's a little bit too high. But they said, hey, if somebody else wants to come in, we'll probably come in too. But if they're all going to stay on the racetrack, we are as well. Track position means everything here. Ralph Shaheen?
Well, Dick, here's the first set of tires we get to look at. These are the ones that just came off the Dale Jarrett's car. This is the right front. As you can see, they're pretty happy with it. Brad Parrott, the tire specialist, says he's thrilled with the wear of this Goodyear tire. All they did was take a rubber out of the right front. They're ready to go. They didn't even change tire pressure.
67.5 miles will be completed as they come down to take green and get the Coca-Cola 300 back underway. Fourth caution of the day. Elton Sawyer bringing the field down. Currently 7th in point. Green flag is out. We're ready to go racing on this new mile. Whoa! Trouble coming down to the line. We got them sideways as they came in there. Whoa.
Yeah, somebody, you know, sometimes that happens, Ken, because a guy didn't get his tires cleaned off like we saw him doing earlier, wobbling the things around there, wiggling them around, and the tires will spin, and it'll cause you to beat somebody to hit you from the rear. I think that may be what happened there. The car in front didn't go, and it caused them guys to bottom down.
Lucky not to get gathered up on that one. We can take another look at that start.
You can see the 00 car pulls out on the outside. Here's Fiedler down on the inside. He gets down on the grass a little bit, and look at the job he does of straightening that car out. Everybody gets by, but look, they were 3 deep going down into turn 1, but they got back in single file pretty quickly.
You know something, Ned? I've noticed they got better grass out here in Texas than they do back in the Carolinas now, because you can drive in this grass and come back on the track and keep going.
And it's wet.
They know it. So I don't know. I'm going to find out what kind of grass they're using out here.
Fiedler fell from 9th back to 25th with that maneuver. Here's Elton Sawyer coming by out in front. Steve Park, the number 3 in 2nd. Then that white car, Jeff Green in 3rd, followed by Elliott Sadler 4th and Buckshot Jones in 5th. Phil Parsons is in 6th. Jeff Burton in that yellow-orangey number 9 up into the 7th position now.
Yeah, we know that's a fast car because we've seen him run at Richmond a couple of Darlington. And he can get up through the field pretty quickly, too. Good news on Fiedler is he's still going.
Take a look at Steve Park. This is the youngster that has been running in the modified ranks, giving it a really good run at the present time. And here's a tight run back a little further in the field. McLaughlin in 7. Mark Martin right there in the number 60 with him. He in 8th. Inside of Mark Martin's car now. Here he is rolling down, closing up on Magic Shoes McLaughlin, the former modified champion out of Waterloo, New York. There you see Dick Trickles, number 64, carried that checkered flag just a week ago at Hickory for the first time, age 55. Now we're back with this battle further in the field with McLaughlin, the number 34, in that 7th position. And then you see Martin in 8th, Allen in 9th, just behind him.
It's Mark, you know, he started 20th. He's up to 8th, so he's definitely got a car that's on the move.
Here are the leaders. Elton Sawyer, Steve Park.
Jeff Burton got by Phil going into turn 3. It's good.
So you've got Parsons continuing to knock him off. He's up to 5th. And you've got Jeff Burton in 6th. And out in front, Elton Sawyer and Steve Park trying to make some Grand National history. 55 laps, 82.5 miles down. Steve Park has pulled out in front in the Coca-Cola 300 here in Texas. It's now Steve Park from New York up in the lead with that car number 3. And a big change, Elton Sawyer has slid back a couple of spots. Sawyer had been leading. Buckshot Jones is now in 2nd. Jeff Burton has come to 3rd. Elton Sawyer finds himself in 4th.
Boy, action's picking up. I'm telling you, does it seem like the track changed or the tires are wearing down or something's happening, because all of a sudden we see a lot of passing, particularly in the front.
For the 3rd time this year, Steve Park has put that number 3 for Earnhardt Racing into the lead in a Grand National event. And take a look here as Jeff Green fades back, Ned.
Yes, Phil Parsons goes by. Mark Martin goes by.
Yeah, he seems to be struggling. He's just been losing spot after spot after spot, and the car's not getting off the corner or anything like it was.
So Phil Parsons in 5th place. Mark Martin now moves up to 6th.
And here comes Martin. Mark Martin in that yellow and black number 60 on a roll. 0 trying to close them down. Meanwhile, for the lead, Steve Park is there, and young Buckshot Jones hanging right on.
Good shot from NASCAR looking up there at Phil Parsons' car. You know, the thing about it is he ought to be the best guy here in this race because he did all the tire testing. He tested here a couple of times in Winston Cup, and I'm not sure about his Busch car, but the same tire, so he should have the most knowledge of the racetrack.
That's for 5th position. Here he comes down the inside and pulling up a spot. It's Mark Martin as he rolls toward the front, trying to win his 4th Grand National Race of the year and drawing away. Take a look here. That's Jeff Burton in number 9 on the inside of the 00. Buckshot Jones. That's for 2nd place.
And said you couldn't pass here. Boys, it is picking up, no doubt.
It's starting to pick up, and Burton is making a tremendous run toward the front here because he's passed several cars to get into 2nd place, and he's going to close down on Park pretty quick.
And he's done it in a hurry. Jeff Burton has come from 11th up to 2nd in that yellow number 9 in just 11 laps. But Steve Park is making his mark at the present time in number 3. There you see the advantage as he crosses the line by 11 car lengths.
I think you take a look at that shot right there, Ken. You can see how distinctive this tri-oval is. It's really 2 distinct turns, unlike some of the other tri-oval racetracks we run on.
60 laps, 90 miles complete. Next time by in this Coca-Cola $780,000 300-mile prelude to tomorrow's Interstate Batteries 500.
Boy, it makes me feel good to see these guys racing like this, be able to pass and run side by side a little bit now, and it tells me the racetrack's really coming in.
And the car that's going backwards is the car number 8, the pole sitter of Jeff Green. Cars continue to pass him. He's the white car up on the outside. You see him right there as the cars go by down on the inside. I think his car might have gotten a little bit loose or something. Anyway, he's not handling too good.
Yeah, I think, you know, you take a guy that sets on the pole and no practice, he probably didn't change his car much, didn't make many adjustments because he was fast, and it's hurting him now in the race.
Let's go to Mike Joy.
Well, to expand on that, Jeff Green's team says they have the wrong rear end gear in the car now that the track is coming in, so they're a little off. Tony Uri is crew chief for young Steve Park, and Tony, was the pace just too slow up front? Steve felt he had to go, or what?
Well, we didn't expect the race pace to be this slow. We expect it a little faster. We really ain't got the right gear in the car. We tried to get him out front, told him run as hard as he can run it, keep it wound up. I don't know. We thought we made a mistake with the gear. I don't know where we did or not.
Seemed like a good mistake to me. Ken, the modified season opener, the icebreaker at Thompson, Connecticut, got snowed out this weekend. So Steve Park's former fans in the modified division, they're watching him run up front today.
Here he is down in Texas. Keeps asking everybody for 2 days, hey, you think they're going to get it in up at Thompson, Connecticut? Hart is still very much in modified, but right now his foot is deep in the heart of Texas, where he's out in front and drawing away by 14 car lengths over Burton in 2nd, Jones in 3rd, Mark Martin back in 4th, Elton Sawyer 5th, Phil Parsons 6th.
You know, you think Park, with all that short track experience, would really be a terror on the short tracks, but he's actually performed better and impressed me more at Daytona and speedways like this than he has on some of the smaller racetracks.
See the 99 coming by? That's Glenn Allen. He's having a great day. He's up in 8th spot and continuing to run very, very well in this new 1.5 miles. And the 44, looks like Bobby Labonte may be falling off the pace at the present time. Started to slow down for a moment.
Yeah, he's in 10th place. That's Terry Labonte that we're seeing on the screen there, the car number 5. Terry made a pit stop during the last caution. He has worked himself back up to 21st position.
Yeah, you know, it seemed like it helped him, Ned, because he's come from the back all the way back to 21st already, so he made the right call. It looked to me like.
He's closing on Jason Keller. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Ken, maybe one of the reasons why Steve Park is running so well today, when you talk to the drivers in the garage area, they tell you they drive this big track like a short track from point to point, not around a big winding curve like you would at most super speedways. Maybe Steve Park really feels at home at this point-to-point style of racetrack.
We got trouble. The engine was blowing, looked like there on the, what was that, 45, I believe it is, Greg Sachs.
Yeah, Greg Sachs' car looked like blew an engine going into turn 1. A lot of smoke came from his car. No caution. Apparently no fluid dropped down on the racetrack, and I don't see the smoke from his car now.
No, he's back going again.
I think he had some, one of the wall hard in turn 4.
Oh, man.
Serious crash for Randy Porter. It just broke away and headed up the track and head on into the concrete. Yeah. 5th caution of the day. Randy Porter solidly in the wall in the 4th turn. Lap 66 under yellow.
He's got his window net down. I saw his hand move a little bit. They get that window net down, it's a signal that, okay, I'm all right, and I'm not in any serious trouble.
Almost identical spot to where Ricky Craven.
Yeah, it looked like he lost the tire. The car just turned and went straight into the fence.
Here he is trying to clamber out of that automobile that has really taken some damage.
You know, you just want to get away from the thing. If at all possible, it's knocked the breath out of him, and he just wants to get out of that thing and get away from it. It's a piece of metal laying on the racetrack. I assume that's from his car. Boy, he is. I know that feeling. He's stinging and tingling all over from that hard lick.
Probably knocked the breath out of him.
Yeah, and you don't know if you're all right. They say you're all right. You really don't know. You hurt so bad.
But it's certainly good to see him.
May have hurt his wrist. He may have had his hand on the steering wheel and had the same thing happen to him that happened to Terry Labonte at Phoenix last year.
You know, speaking of Terry Labonte, I think he made a great call.
You can see how hard he's up against the wall. The car just stays up there against the wall. He can't get it off, and it's a good thing, too, where other cars were coming by, and it just continues to rub up against. You can see some flame came out of it when it first hit the wall.
That can be some raw fuel that splashes out of the carburetor. It can be a broken oil line. It can be any number of things when you see those flash fires like that.
Pit roads where it's now happening. Here's Mike Joy.
In Steve Park's pit, Tony Uri Jr. changes the tire, comes around to the left front side. Kevin Pinnell brings the jack. Ray Holmes changing the right rear tire as Kevin Eagle gets the fuel in it. Danny Earnhardt brings that tire over to go on the left front. Terry Labonte took only 2 tires. He's the first off pit road. Jeff Burton comes out second. Steve Park will come out 5th behind Mike McLaughlin and Joe Bessie.
You see that strip that's been added, that dark strip where the cars are coming out of the pit? That was added since we tested here. Everybody felt the pit lane was way too narrow, and they added that extra 12 feet in there.
12 feet. Here's Dick Berggren.
Mark Martin also took a stop, and he had not only changed 4 tires, they are having a problem with the car heating up. So while he was here, they pulled a bit of the tape off the front grille. That should help the air, but it will change the handling. And he says the car is a bit loose going in, a bit tight coming off, and that's what they all say, isn't it, Darrell?
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
We'll take a quick break and be back to the Coca-Cola 300 inaugural race at Texas Motor Speedway in a moment.
You got a good car, and you got a chance to win a race, and you got to make adjustments on the car. You got to make adjustments in the pits.
Terry Labonte pitting. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Terry had a fast stop, Ken, because he took on fuel only. That brought him up to 3rd place. Good move, yes. But now he believes he has cut down a right front tire, punctured it, so they'll bring him in. Slugger Labby's putting a new right front on that Charles Hatcher brought around, and we get the 1-to-go sign. So Labonte will have to go to the tail end of the pack and work his way all the way back up through once again. Finishing up, topping off fuel, and away he goes. Tail end Charlie.
5th place when he came in, goes to the rear now. And we're showing how many cars up on that lead lap? 36, 37.
Yeah, I thought his strategy was really going to work good for him. If that thing had stayed green there a little bit ago, you know, he had fresh tires and everything, but now he's back to the back again.
And Dennis Setzer, Ned, has appropriated 1st place. He stayed out on the track, and Setzer now finds himself up in front, and the kid named Mark Day gets to run in 2nd spot for the moment.
Well, they had made pit stops earlier during the last caution, so they didn't need to stop. He pitted on lap 43, so they'd only been out there about 25 laps. They said, we got enough fuel and tires to go for a while, so let's run up front.
There you see Dennis Setzer's just taken over that number 43 ride. The 2nd car in that team, the Ridling team, that also has the number 88 car. And Kevin LePage, the winner at Homestead. We saw him win that last race. It's season 96 down there at Homestead. Getting a green, and we're back underway. This coming at lap 72.
That's that 9 car, that 3rd car in line there. I bet he gets up front real quick.
It's Jeff Burton in the yellow number 9. Going back on the outside.
And McLaughlin, number 34, in 4th. And a rookie down on the bottom. That number 16, Mark Day.
And we have a report that Terry Labonte's tire was indeed flat. So that's good.
Yeah, it looked flat as he came down pit road. I was looking at the car as he came down pit road. I wondered why, and it looked like it had a flat right front. Well, they're dicing it up a bunch back in here now. Wow.
Yeah, Michael Waltrip is definitely off the pace going down in turn 1. Everybody passing Michael going down the turn.
I think it's something more in the carburetor.
Got up real high, and he fell from 21st back to 32nd. Take a look at number 3, Steve Park. He's in 4th place, and Randy LaJoie is there, the number 74 in 5th spot. There you see Michael Waltrip having his problems today with that number 21. Setzer continues to lead. Hard driver. Saw him on CBS in Milwaukee in a truck race with one of those Dodge vehicles. Put on one of the greatest shows we saw 2 years ago in our series.
But he's about to lose the lead right now. Here comes that number 9 of Jeff Burton. Boy, he got a run off of the second turn over there and just blew right by Dennis Setzer. Wasn't anything Dennis could do about it.
No, it wasn't. But I tell you, the racetrack is really getting better and better, and these guys are getting braver and braver. And I see a lot of really fast cars making big moves.
McLaughlin looking at Setzer from 3rd spot, trying to take that second berth.
Apparently Michael Waltrip had a flat tire. He came in to change the tire. He's going back out, but he's lost a lap. Hey, he's trouble here. Looks like the Tim Fedewa car.
Crashing down into turn number 1, down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Well, that's what I was talking about, Ned and Ken. They were doing a lot of hard racing back in the pack there. Like they really gotten their confidence level up, and they trust the track more and more. So this is a big deal.
A lot of damage done to his car number 33.
He may have got off in that grass, Ned. I really didn't catch it. Did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't see it. That starting to happen.
6th caution at lap 77. Fedewa, bad trouble. Take a look.
Okay, here we come down the front straightaway. He's the blue car down on the inside there, you see. And he gets into the 4 car of Tim Steele, the red car, loses control and backs it hard into the wall. See a lot of other cars coming there don't know which way to go. They get slowed down as he spins around and up against the outside wall, almost to the outside wall once again.
Fedewa's number 33 team car to Randy LaJoie in bad shape as it comes onto pit road. We may have seen the last of number 33 today. He's running for points. They may try to patch it up and get out here and get a few more spots. But as far as being a contender, it's over for Tim Fedewa. We'll take a quick commercial break and be back with more of the Coca-Cola 300 Grand National Race in Texas. Let's go to Dick Berggren back on pit road.
Just on a poll to see what the drivers are saying about their cars, Ken, and the word we keep hearing is push. They try to turn left to go through the corners. Car wants to go straight. That means they have to get out of the gas. Some are pushing in some places and not others. Todd Bodine is pushing in the middle of the corner and off. Buckshot Jones, it's everywhere. It's what took Elton Sawyer out of the lead. They tried to take it out with air pressure. Mark Martin's tight coming off. We haven't talked to anybody who says the back end's trying to come around. It's the nose they're having trouble with here today in Texas.
Getting ready on a restart. Let's see if we're going to get it this time. Are we there?
Yes, we are.
Ready to go green?
I don't know what happened to Michael. He was up on the outside there. He's a lap down, and they all of a sudden they're throwing him back.
Pace cars in. As they come to the line, Jeff Burton in that yellow, number 9, brings him down. Dennis Setzer, number 43 in 2nd. McLaughlin 3rd. Steve Park 4th. Randy LaJoie in 5th. Buckshot Jones in 6th. You've got Bobby Labonte running 7th and Shane Hall in 8th. Mark Martin is there in 9th and Elton Sawyer, former leader, back in 10th.
Pretty well single file. Well, as I say that, there goes Mark Martin on the outside of Shane Hall.
And here comes Elton Sawyer right there with him. Elton Sawyer up on the outside of that number 38 and not getting through.
I guarantee you one thing, Mark and whoever he was passing there, you couldn't put a napkin between them. They were so close.
Down into turn number 1. Take a look at Mark Martin continuing to edge his way forward. Remember, he has 3 Grand National wins this year. He has 29 total. The record in Grand National stands at 31 by the old Iron Man Jack Ingram. And it could be challenged, that mark, in 1997 by Batesville, Arkansas's Mark Martin. For the moment, Burton is in front. Now look at this battle for 2nd. McLaughlin down the inside. Here comes Steve Park at number 3 with him, and Buckshot Jones making a move. That's where you want to be making the move. Is as you come through that double dog leg. If there's any daylight there and you've got the power and you've got the coordination, you can stuff it in there.
I'm impressed with Mike McLaughlin today. You know, this is the best run he's had in a pretty good while, too. He's right up there in 2nd place.
Did you see Buckshot just knocked down Setzer? Just flew past him there. Now you're riding with Mike McLaughlin. He's is in second position.
Started 11th, and he's up to second, so he's having a good run.
Having a great run is McLaughlin today.
You can see out his windshield how close down on the inside that he hugs that inside. Then as he comes off the corner, gets up next to the outside wall.
His best finish has been 8th. He's doing a whole lot better right now, but here comes Steve Park in that Earnhardt number 3, closing him down.
Well, you know, Dale hadn't had a whole lot to smile about so far this year. I know he's got to be having a good time right now. It's got to be exciting for him.
You're not helping. I heard what you said to him on TV the other night.
Listen,
I told him he was a has-been, washed up. How could you do that?
No, I love Dale. I love playing with him, picking at him, and we have a lot of fun.
88 laps, 200 laps is the distance this afternoon. We're in Texas, Fort Worth, the new mile-and-a-half, $120 million track. There hasn't been much practice. It rained and then some. But we've got ourselves a dandy race. Look at Dennis Setzer right here, trying to hold off Elton Sawyer down to the inside in that number 38 car, and Sawyer gets the spot. Elton Sawyer picking one up. He'll take 8th.
You know, that's becoming the favorite place to pass is get off turn 4 here and try to get position through this trial. Seems to work real good for a lot of guys.
Saw in the background some of the construction still underway. 61 brand new condominiums going into turn 2 before we're back another year. It's still Jeff Burton out in front. Here's McLaughlin in second, getting some pressure from Steve Park.
You know, as I watch the cars come off turn 4, Ned, it reminds me of Darlington a lot. Because when you're sitting up in the stands watching Darlington, you said there's no way 2 cars can come off there side by side.
Here's Randy LaJoie, second-generation driver from Norwalk, Connecticut, underneath Buckshot Jones. Randy LaJoie in that number 74, who cut his teeth on racing up in New England. He inches toward the front, and he goes into 4th.
Boy, he does. He's rambling now. He's coming on.
He started way back, but he's already moving up through the pack. His crew chief, Steve Bird, said a little earlier, said, don't worry about it. He's going to be okay.
The FINA number 84, you're riding with LaJoie. Remember 1984 Daytona 125-mile qualifier. Feet first at 190 miles an hour into the barrier. Went end for end 3 times. That set his career back for 2 or 3 years. Then he went to work doing anything, fabricating, working for anyone. And over the years, he's got himself built back up. Had a super speedway Winston Cup car ready for this race. Crashed it 2 days ago. Defending Grand National Champion LaJoie, whose dad was the hero, the star of the old Danbury Racerama, one of the great eastern stock car tracks after World War II. Won himself some 300 or 400 races there. And this kid is a chip off the old block in that number 74 as he closes down even tighter on those front 3. Jeff Burton, number 9 in front. McLaughlin second. Park in third. And here comes LaJoie. And the Northeast has that second, third, and 4th position rolling out here at the present time.
Boy, did you notice how excited Ken has gotten ever since those guys from the Northeast have gotten up front? He is pumped, didn't he?
You stop it. Look at McLaughlin down. Oh, there's trouble on number 9. He backed up big.
Yeah, he's off the pace. No?
Well, maybe he just decided they wanted to run faster than he did and find him a spot there to fill in. We'll watch for a lap or 2 here and see, but it looks like he picked back up after dropping from 1st to 4th.
Well, he was off the pace now. You have to admit that, but he's back on it now.
McLaughlin has taken the lead. Park into second. And LaJoie from 21st position rolls into 3rd. Coming up toward halfway. They'll finish the 95th lap this time by 5 to go to halfway. And Mike McLaughlin, the kid they crowned Magic Shoes when he won the modified championship, has the lead. Inside McLaughlin's car. Here's Steve Park edging ever closer.
Boy, I guess Park and McLaughlin have probably raced each other a lot through the years. In the modified.
Actually, not that much because McLaughlin made the move down south. Steve Park, just a youngster coming along. He's only 29. They had a few endeavors together, but not that many encounters.
Guys, back at the back of this pack, there's Mark Martin right there coming up. He's gradually moving back up. You know, he had that slow pit stop, but he's coming on back up there.
Mark Martin up to 6th spot. Sees Steve Park right there in second. He just loves to get in a race car, that guy in number 3. He says that's the one time You can be entirely focused on one thing. You're one with yourself and with the car and doing what you enjoy the most. That's what Steve Park enjoys the most, and that number 3.
Especially on a day like this when he's been up front, he's led a little bit, and this has got to be exciting for him. Here at a new Speedway in front of a new audience, and he's putting a show on.
Take a look at Elton Sawyer. Here comes Todd Bodine. Moving back up again. That's the battle for 9th. Sawyer has it. And Todd Bodine, the point leader. You're riding with him, trying to take it away. Out of 2 and down the back straightaway. Todd Bodine looking to the outside. The youngest of those 3 Bodine brothers now just sneaks down to the inside for a peek.
I saw him go to the outside a little earlier and pass a fast car too. So he's starting to move up a little bit and use that outside lane. See him stick that nose to the outside there. Bobby Labonte and Phil Parsons right ahead of them. They seem to be closing down on them pretty quick too.
Bobby Labonte has not lost a lap, as we understand. He's right in this thing.
Yeah, no, he's been running real good. This, as a matter of fact, Bobby and Terry, you know, they normally run up front in these Busch Grand National races. Last year they want to run up front, won some of them, and this year they've been struggling. But I think they're a lot better here this weekend.
Parsons and Labonte, the numbers 10 and 44 in a battle for 7th spot, and give it to Parsons for the present. Coming down to halfway, this time by. Coming up to the leaders as we get to halfway, Ned.
And still McLaughlin, but he has that company right on his bumper. There's a halfway bonus, so they're going to fight hard for it.
I can hear Earnhardt now. Boy, get up here and get that money.
Here they come. Yeah. McLaughlin's got to get it.
McLaughlin taking the halfway mark. Steve Park looking to give Dale Earnhardt and his team its first Busch Grand National win since 1994 at Daytona.
Yeah, since Dale drove the car, I think, actually.
Here's Dick Berggren.
A few moments ago, Jeff Burton went from 1st to 4th in one fell swoop. The problem? Somebody got a little too close to the back deck. He lost control of the car momentarily. Rather than crash it, he just got out of the throttle, gathered it up. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the car. He is now closing on LaJoie. Hey, guys, this is the same car he led 46 laps with at Darlington, and in fact was in the lead on the 3rd turn of the last lap. Didn't win it, but sure came close.
Yeah, that's the same guy who passed him right there in front of him, too, LaJoie. You know, I don't understand something. Can those young guys like that, they can lose control going into turn 3 and lose 4 spots and keep going. I lose control going into turn 3 and I stop right there. That's it. Never move another inch.
All right, you see the 74 running right there in 3rd spot. That's LaJoie trying to close on those 2 leaders. It's going to get fun. First turn. We're at 159 miles this time by, 106 complete. Under yellow, 7th time of the day. And there you see Glenn Ellen, who had a really good run. Here's what happened.
Well, you see he's already up against the wall as he comes out past or to the start-finish line. Stays up there as other cars go by on the inside. But as he scrubs that wall, he's doing a lot of damage to the right side of his race car.
Oh, yeah, if you look at that thing, get a shot of it down that right side, it narrowed it up a good bit.
Came out of that Midwest Series back in 1995, 2nd place in the series. Take a look at how he narrowed that up.
Yeah, the right rear quarter pound, you can see that right rear tire is flat now, certainly.
Yeah.
So the David If prepared car is waiting for the hook to bring it in. Glenn Allen out of the race, our 7th caution. A quick break and back for more.
Ken, a strategy move on Hermie Sadler's part. He came in here and topped off with fuel. We've only run 101 laps. Drivers like Jeff Burton say they need to get to at least lap 124 before they can top the tank off and go all the way. But Sadler has given up all his track position in hoping of gambling from green flag from here to the finish. He'll be one of the few with a full tank on this green flag run.
Getting ready to go back again to racing after 111 of 200 laps have been completed. LaJoie back there in 3rd told me earlier this is a long race for us. If we can finish in one piece, we're going to be fine. He's made it to halfway. Can he get the rest of the distance?
Well, he's not the kind of guy to wait. I think he'll be wanting to get to the front and take the lead if he can. I know that's contrary to what Steve Bird said, but I watch this cat race too much. I know he wants to be out front.
Keep your eye on that yellow number 9, Jeff Burton. A lot of people people say this could be the Burton weekend, that he could win both ends. Win today in the Grand National 300 and come back and win the 500 tomorrow. You're riding with Jeff Burton right now. Roush Racing Team taking you down there into that very tight, difficult corner, number 4. You've got to be on it. Hand-eye coordination so absolutely dead zero, right on the point. Miss it, you're going to buy the wall.
Yeah, that 21 car, Michael Waltrip there, he's a lap down, but it looks like he's got his problem solved, and he's able to hang right there with the leaders.
1 lap down, 34th position.
I think what happened before that he dropped back on that other restart, Darrell, was the fact that he pitted when the leaders did and had to go to him with the longest line.
Something happened to him because they put him to the rear, as you say. And it looks like his car is decent.
Dick Berggren.
There's a lot of relatives in this honor race today. One of them is Brett Bodine, whose brother Todd is currently running in 7th position. Brett, you're going to run the Winston Cup race tomorrow. We're going to see you on CBS. What did you see today so far?
Well, I'll tell you, I see some pretty good racing. The guys really have used their heads for no practice. I'm very proud of these Busch guys that kept themselves out of trouble. And real proud of Todd. He's having a good run. He's out there championship racing right now.
Yeah, can he win this thing?
I think he's got enough car, but it's awful hard to pass once you get to the front.
Ken?
7th position, Todd Bodine. Closing in on Phil Parsons in the number 10. Parsons back in 3rd in the standings. Remember, the Grand National standings coming to today. At Bodine, he's up on top in the standings by 38 points over Randy LaJoie 2nd. And they've had a skirmish all season. Phil Parsons had been in 2nd. He just slipped back into 3rd. They both, all 3, are looking to edge their way ever closer to that national title, which will be decided at Homestead, Florida, and you'll see it on CBS come the autumn, November. Look at McLaughlin pull away.
Boy, he is.
The 1988 modified champion, and there is Dick Trickle up on the outside as Terry Labonte noses down to the bottom. Comes through with Jason Keller.
Look at Trickle go back. Gosh, he's going to lose, what, 4 or 5 spots there trying to get back in line.
There's the 0-0 of Buckshot Jones. What, 5 as well? Yeah, he did lose about 5 spots in that one turn.
13th back to 18th for Dick Trickle. Just got up out of that bottom line, that 5-foot space that you have to hit so right, and they devoured it.
The good news is you can get out there and not lose total control. You're going to lose some positions, obviously, but you can't get out there and not lose control of the car. And that's what a lot of us are worried about.
Back with Buckshot Jones another time. Kid's having a good day.
Oh, he is.
17th spot.
He's pitted, you know, and he's just working his way back up through there, doing a good job of it.
On the inside of Jeff Fuller.
It seems to me like the move is off turn 4. If you can get the thing off of turn 4, look like some of the cars are pushing, like the guy said. If you can get the nose underneath the guy off of turn 4, then you can get him down through this trail.
Get a good run coming off of that turn. If you pull up beside him, then you can make the pass going into turn number 1. We've seen that happen several times today.
Because getting into turn 1 is really difficult. So if you've got the position, the guy's got to give it to you.
Front 3 in a bundle. Here's McLaughlin. Here's Park. Coming to the line with LaJoie. And just behind him, 4 or 5 car lengths, Mark Martin waiting in the wings to make his move into this race. 120 of 200 laps now being completed. And look at Martin begin to close it up. Mark Martin, that 4th place car, has trimmed it down to about 3 car lengths to those 3 leaders.
You're seeing what Mark Martin's seeing. It's that 74 right in front of him into the turn.
Here's another guy that could sweep the week here in Texas. Mark Martin. He's had a great run thus far. When he's entered races, he's been the man to beat, and 3 times he's won. But there's Randy LaJoie, the winner at Daytona in the first Grand National race of the year, just in front, and he's not giving an inch on that bottom line.
And Steve Park moving right up now on the back bumper of Mike McLaughlin. He wants to lead again.
Here comes Jeff Burton in the yellow number 9 up to 5th. Hey, we've got ourselves a race. Let's see who is going to break. The tension building here.
Well, the top 5 are just, you know, right there together. They're all running about the same.
Do a little bump drafting here, Darrell.
It would not be highly recommended. I think you'd probably hit something pretty hard if you bump draft here.
but certainly drafting comes into play here because of the speed you run.
Yeah, a little bit down the back straightaway particularly, but maybe a little down the front here if you get back and get a run on a guy.
And for the fans that might be watching a NASCAR race for the first time, when we're talking about drafting, we're talking about the front car opening up a big area of air. Right behind it, there's a pocket of not very thick air, and the second car can move up on it and pick up speed as a result of running in that thinner air, and that's what you call drafting.
Yeah, it's just like a boat going through the water.
Wing off a motorboat.
Yeah.
Buckshot Jones closing in another time, trying to close in on Bobby Labonte at this point. That would be for 11th spot.
Buckshot, he's moving up pretty well.
Mike McLaughlin in the lead, going for his second Busch Grand National win. His only win, Dover, Delaware, back in 1995. Can he hold on? We'll see. CBS coverage of this 300 continues after this message and a word from your local station. 3.5 miles riding with Norwalk, Connecticut's Randy LaJoie in quest of his third victory of the season. Here he is down into turn number 1 on the 24-degree banking of this mile-and-a-half track, racing for $800,000, closing up on Steve Park. Mike McLaughlin, the yellow and red car, with a 5-car length advantage in the back straightaway. Race has been slowed by 7 cautions to date. We've got a gang war up in front. You've got Mark Martin back there in that 4th position, number 60. He who won 3 straight races this season, won the Darlington event, won at Rockingham this year, won at Richmond. Put him in order to be won at Richmond, Darlington. Put him in the right order. 3 in a row.
I think what we're seeing right now, Ken, is everybody's kind of settled in. This front group has, and I think they're just kind of watching each other, see what the other guys are going to do, see where they find a place they might be able to pass here later on in the afternoon.
To Mike Joy.
Darrell, you're right in large part. Steve Park called into his crew chief. He had been drafting tight up behind Mike McLaughlin, and he said, let's get some clean air, and kind of pedaled it back a bit to see what his car would do, how the nose would stick without a car just in front of him. Now, at the back of that lead pack in 5th is Jeff Burton, and Burton radioed in and says, I'm really tight when I'm right behind these guys. I'm not sure what it'll do when I get out in clean air by myself.
I think that's what's happening right now. Again, we're going through a big change in the racetrack. It's losing some of its grip, tire wear, and it's getting late in the afternoon and it's getting more rubber down. So things are changing a little bit right now. And guys are kind of analyzing where they are and what they need to do to try to win this thing at the end.
Mark Martin back about 5 car lengths from LaJoie, trying to close him down in the back straightaway here, Ned.
And I think that he's one of those drivers that's definitely sizing up the competition in front of him. He's a very smart, savvy race driver. Mark Martin is. He didn't win all of those races by just getting out there and beating everybody with the race car. He has a good race car, but he also is a very smart driver.
LaJoie in 3rd, looking back.
As long as it stays under green like this and they keep clicking the laps away, they got to start thinking fuel mileage, tire wear. They got to change their strategy somewhat when we had those early cautions and they could get in the pit when they wanted to.
Last lap at 172 miles an hour, and you see Buckshot Jones, the 00 car, moving up on Jason Keller in 57, and Elton Sawyer, the number 38. It's 8th, 9th, and 10th.
You're just past Stevie Reeves coming off of turn 4. Stevie slowed down about 4 or 5 laps ago. Don't know what went wrong with his car, but he definitely is off the pace now.
Boy, that really drew everybody up too, Nick, because they caught him right in the middle of 3 and 4 there, and the leader had to back off a little bit, and it really bottlenecked everything.
We understand that maybe he has some grease leaking from the rear gearing of his car.
There you see the 6 men all fighting for first place in this race. Mike McLaughlin leads the way. Steve Park in 2nd, LaJoie in 3rd. Mark Martin right there in 4th, followed by Jeff Burton and Parsons. That front 6 all together.
Yeah, and it's getting tighter and tighter. Phil Parsons and Todd Bodine have pulled back up to the back of that group right there, and not too far behind is Elton Sawyer and a couple other cars that are closing up on them.
Here comes Buckshot Jones down to the inside, makes his move on Keller. Buckshot's come from 21st to 10th since that last caution, and he's up another spot. Closing on Elton Sawyer coming Buckshot Jones.
Look at the car, how it sticks down on the inside, and what a bite he gets coming off the turn, so he moves right up now on the back bumper of car number 38 of Elton Sawyer.
I think start here at the front of the field that are pretty equally matched right now.
Take a look up in front. Stabilized, everybody holding on, just feeling each other out, sizing them up for the finish on this one.
The guys that, right now nobody wants to do anything because they don't want to get passed. If you try to pass the guy in front of you, you don't make it, you can end up losing, your position. So it's almost like Daytona where you're holding your position and not lose what you got.
They're going to have to make one more pit stop. Dennis Setzer just made a pit stop. That strategy that they employed, not coming in on that last caution, was probably a mistake. Had to make his pit stop under the green flag now, so Dennis will go at least one lap down.
Believe that. Wow, Dennis Setzer back on this track and trying to catch him up again, having a very good ride for that Riddling team. Take a look up in front. You're riding with McLaughlin and Park. Very cagey, stays right there. Showing a lot of maturity for a guy who literally just got this assignment 8 races ago.
2-car teams are working pretty good today. You got McLaughlin and Bodine are both on the same team. They're running their, like 1st and 5th, and you got Mark Martin and Jeff Burton. They're running 3rd and 4th. So 2-car teams look like we're pretty good in Busch Grand National, as well as Winston Cup.
That's what you need, Boy.
It is.
Another team, another car, another headache.
Another headache.
We'll take a quick break and be back. Watch Mike McLaughlin try to win this thing. Steve Park. Could hear him on the radio say, darn those lap cars, or something like that, and this is why.
Yeah, right. Here he is coming up off of turn 4, and watch him. He's going to try to go on the outside of this white car. He's at the number
Robertson.
40, and they touch right there, and it sends Park into a spin, down on the grass, back across the racetrack, and backs hard into that wall.
Need a new tail clip on that one.
It's like a 72 Gremlin. When that, what they would call those
thing to say.
Another look, you can see Park way up high, but the 40 car moves up there into that groove and squeezes him out. Boy, that was close for some other drivers there too. Look at Mark Martin.
LaJoy had the right Saint twice.
LaJoy had to see that whole thing.
Almost got it from the front and then again from the rear, and Mark Martin ducking through. What a bad break for young Steve Park. Dad was a great car builder up in the Northeast, and here's Steve walking back and not happy at all with that number 40 of Robertson.
There's a tire down there. Somebody's got it loose.
Yeah, and it may be the 74 car on the end of pit road. Anyway, McLaughlin is still your leader. Mike McLaughlin in front with 8 cautions thus far in this event, which is typical of the first time out on a new track. You think of Homestead, you think of New Hampshire. Anytime you have a brand new track, it's a new adventure, and a lot of them bite the bullet before it's over.
Well, let's go down and see what Mike Joy's got for us.
Darrell, wasn't the best of pit stops for Randy LaJoy. That tire did roll across the racetrack. They took a round and a half of wedge out of the right rear, but they were a little slow on the change on the left side. So Mike McLaughlin wins the race off pit road. Mark Martin's out there, and then LaJoy falls in line just ahead of Dick Trickle. So they may have given up a spot or 2 on pit road. And as Dick said at the top of the telecast, the easiest passing anybody will do all day will be coming out of these pits.
And you're right, Mike. He has fallen back to 5th spot. LaJoy. Trickle is in 6th. The front 4 are McLaughlin and Tim Steele, that number 4 car in 2nd. Spencer in 3rd. Mark Martin 4th, followed by LaJoy.
You got to think. We think about the caution flags, how many we've had. Let's take a look at this. There's Park. Boy, look at Mark get his hand up, and he gasses it and gets on by.
About 175, 180 miles an hour.
Exactly.
And he made the right move and still made it.
Here we go from LaJoy. Watch this from LaJoy. Now his car's going to go right
over his nose.
And it comes right back into almost into the side of him. But he kept a cool head and didn't panic.
Ralph Shaheen.
Well, we've caught up with Steve Park, who's talking to his crew chief, Tony Uri, right now. Steve, what happened out there?
The AC Delco Chevrolet Monte Carlo was running real good today. I'll tell you, these guys done a great job preparing that car. The Goodyear tires are great, and the track was in great shape. It was a question early on, but we just got in there with a bunch of lap cars, and obviously, the guy waved me on the outside and pinched me up into the outside retaining wall, but there's not a lot of room out there, and I'm real disappointed. These lap cars, it's a tough place to pass, and they're not showing any respect for the leaders, and I just, they got their fair shot being out there, but we had a chance of winning this race, of finishing in the top 5, and to be taken out with 60 laps left is a heartbreak for me. So I just want to tell my mom I'm okay. Car took a lick, but I'm okay. My pride's a little hurt, but we'll bounce back. We'll get him next week.
Steve Park. Good kid.
Yeah, he is. He's a
strong guy.
A good driver, and I've seen him drive trucks in New Hampshire, and he almost won, and I've seen him almost win a lot of races, so he's a great driver.
Down to 54 laps to go now. Guy on the move behind McLaughlin is Tim Steele. He's come from 15th to 2nd. Green yellow in the pit stops. Perhaps he's only taken on a couple of tires. Here's Dick Berger.
Well, Ken, that's exactly what Mike McLaughlin did. Now in the lead, he did a real quick pit stop, 12.2 seconds. They loosened the car up a little bit like everybody else. He's a little tight in the turns, but he only got outside tires. Todd Bodine took 4, Mark Martin took 4, Elton Sawyer took 4. About everybody I saw took 4. McLaughlin opted for track position. He's in the lead. Can he hang on with only 2 new tires?
Oh, that's a toughie. I don't think. What do you think, Ned? I wouldn't have done that.
Well, I don't know. It's a gamble. There's no doubt about it. Not knowing how long the tires will run here and hold up.
We'll take a commercial break and get back. Getting down to those final laps this afternoon of the Coca-Cola 300 from the brand new Texas Motor Speedway. All that tire you saw rolling out across the track, LaJoie's, there's the penalty for not keeping control of that pit area, and he's on the tail end of the longest line of cars. Those are the cars in that lead lap. So LaJoie has his work cut out from here to the finish.
Really does. He's got about 51 laps to do it in, Ken, but we've seen it's tough passing. He has a fast race car, no doubt about that, and he started back in about 20th position, so he did work his way up there to the front, but he doesn't have many laps now to do it.
Talk about those folks up in front, McLaughlin and Steele first and second, and the pit stops they made for tires.
Yeah, well, you know, the leader, McLaughlin, he only took 2 tires, right side tires. I'm interested to see how that strategy is going to pay off, because I don't think that's the way to go.
Well, it'd be interesting to see. And Tim Steele, who's running second right now, didn't take any tires. He just took fuel. He was running 24th before the caution came out, and now he's up there in second place.
Well, I think that tells you how important the drivers and the crews feel track position is. But, man, you got to keep rubber on those things and keep them handling good.
The red number 4 is your second place car, Tim Steele. Lap car in the middle, Michael Waltrip. Here's Ralph Shaheen.
Ken, the one to keep your eyes on in this battle might be the car sitting in third. Jimmy Spencer came in, took 2 right side tires, loosened the car up just a hair. He's moving to the outside of Tim Steele now. He's good to go all the way to the finish, and he feels he's got a very strong race car.
And he's gone in the second spot.
Yeah, I feel like Steele is, I mean, he's the guy that really took the gamble by taking no tires. I know that's not the right thing to do.
Mr. Excitement from Berwick, Pennsylvania. Jimmy Spencer up in the second spot. 5 Grand National wins to his credit. He's closing on McLaughlin. And these two have duked it out before.
Well, Michael is trying like crazy to get his lap back. He gets his car pretty good on fresh tires, but he falls off quick.
Michael Waltrip in the gold-looking number 21, running 1 lap down.
28th position.
He lost a lap earlier when he had a flat tire.
Just joining us, we're at the $120 million Texas Motor Speedway. 1.5 miles, turns 24 degrees.
Boy, everybody's getting their game face on now. It's going to get serious here.
Yeah, if you got anything left, it's time to go.
Yep. I tell you, that's tight racing on a track that's not very forgiving.
And it doesn't take just a teeny-weeny little mistake by somebody that can take out several cars.
Yep.
As we see, Todd Bodine move right up on the Tim Bender car. Todd Bodine in the yellow car in the center of your screen. Tim Bender in the yellow and white, number 17.
And the 4 car is Steele that did not take tires on his pit stop. So he's fallen from second place all the way back to, gosh, he's 6th right now.
Back up front with that leader, number 34, McLaughlin. Then the lap car, Michael Waltrip. He's in 28th, right there. Second place car is Jimmy Spencer.
And going into turn 3, boy, Todd Bodine, smart driver, backed off, gave Tim Bender a little bit of a bump. They maintain control.
7 races this year, and Bender's had 4 bad wrecks. He's bent up a few.
Yeah, that was
Todd Bodine.
That was an example of bump drafting. But the other guy, he didn't know it.
He did afterward.
He got his attention. I know that.
Man, almost lifted the rear wheels up.
Here they go again. They're going down there 3 wide again.
It's a bit interesting.
He made it that time.
Yeah, Bender backs off.
Boy, that's, oh gosh, that's so tight right there.
McLaughlin and Spencer up in front. Now it's Martin in third. And look at Buckshot coming on. Buckshot Jones. Taking a look here at Buckshot Jones in that 00. He's right up there on Todd Bodine, and he's going under Tim Steele in the James Finch number 4 car.
And Buckshot Jones coming right on along too in the 00.
So Steele falls out of bed. That 6th spot. Bodine takes it.
Bobby Labonte had a problem. What? He lost about 3 or 4 positions on the last lap, but it seems to fall back in line now. It seems to be okay, but he moved aside there for a little bit, lost the positions.
Well, here they go down the back again. Boy, Bender really. He's not giving those guys any slack, cutting them any slack getting into turn 3.
LaJoy has come up to 22nd position. Now you're with Mark Martin. He's in 3rd spot. And the old Arkansas Traveler has this one rolling down on the bottom. Has a very good line. You're with those top 3. McLaughlin, Spencer, Mark Martin. Guess who's in 4th? Number 64, Dick Trickle, winner last week, is right back again, knocking on the door.
Mark Martin is really knocking on the door of Jimmy Spencer.
So is Trickle. I mean, that's great racing right there at the front. This track has really come around where they can do some good racing. I'm on the edge of my seat. So I just every now and then I have to jump up.
Phil Parsons in 9th spot. He gets underneath Tim Steele. That gives him 8th and drops Steele to 10th.
I tell you, the 2 fastest cars seem to me like the 36 car of Bodine and 00 of Buckshot Jones. They are really coming to the front.
160 laps, 240 miles of the 300 miles have been covered in this $800,000 contest.
Jimmy Spencer is all over the back of McLaughlin. McLaughlin pulls him down the straightaway a little bit.
Here he comes to the inside. Spencer trying to make a move for the lead. Mr. Excitement's making it just that, Jimmy Spencer. Here comes Mark Martin with him and Dick Trickle. McLaughlin pinned on the outside. They've got him against the ropes as they come into the main straightaway. Can Trickle make it through? He dives to that inside, and he has that number 64 percolating. He's going to take 3rd.
And look at Jeff Burton. He'll try to follow right along down on the inside while that lane is open down there. They want to take advantage of it. They don't get that opportunity very often. Bad opportunity for McLaughlin.
And Michael Waltrip finally gets a shot at McLaughlin, but 3 cars too late.
Yeah, he's not leading the race anymore.
Jimmy Spencer's in front. Oh, this is going to get wild. Spencer in front, Mark Martin in 2nd. Neither of those are going to give an inch. We'll take a commercial break and get back to the excitement of the Coca-Cola 300 Grand National Race at the brand new Texas Motor Speedway. Spencer in front. Jimmy Spencer has the lead. Mark Martin in 2nd. Dick Trickle in 3rd.
And in 4th place is car number 9 of Jeff Burton, right on the back bumper of Dick Trickle.
From Burton's car, looking up at that trio leading this event, averaging over 170 miles an hour. A little bit of bounce out there in turn number 3, and down the main straightaway they come. Spencer and Martin. What a conflict this could be at the end. They would duke it out.
You know, Mark took 4 tires. I believe Jimmy only took 2. So I still believe tire strategy was to get the 4.
For more on the strategy of Jimmy Spencer, here's Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Darrell, you're right. They did just take 2 right side tires out. Gretzinger is the crew chief for Jimmy. Al, are you in good shape now? Do you like what you see?
Yeah, he's very comfortable with what he's got, and his Zippo Chevrolet right now is running very, very well. We're happy. We figured we could go with the 2 tires. We had scuffed 2 tires earlier and tried batching, and it seems to have worked out pretty good for us.
How much of a difference is the fact that you switched to a different motor with the T&L here this weekend?
Well, the T&L motor, we've run it with Jimmy now. It is the 3rd race. We've had some problems before, but we out, and we're very happy with the power he's given us.
To Dick Berggren.
Mark Martin, currently running second, is looking for his 30th career win in this series. The crew says they hope this race stays green. He is giving it all he can. He's not holding anything back, but as the laps wear on, Mark does better in comparison to the other cars out there.
Well, there you see it, 30 to go. That is the story. They can get home. Mark Martin, with the rubber he has on, may be a little better shape. This is only the third Grand National start of the season for Jimmy Spencer, and another former modified champion who made the move up into Grand National. He, moving on into Winston Cup, for the moment has the lead. Now take a look at LaJoie in the number 74. Remember, he was back in 28th position. He's come to 14th. You're riding with Randy LaJoie as he tries to take back another.
That's an impressive run, Ken. Passing as many cars as he has passed already, and he hasn't used up half of those laps that he had to do it in, so he's coming towards the front.
And here he comes once again, down to the inside on Jeff Green. This is going to move him up another slot.
Jeff Green, of course, was the pole
That would be for 12th. He's picked up 13th. That puts him into 12th.
The thing about it is nobody seems to hold him up. He catches him, he falls him a lap or so, and he goes right past him.
And he moves away from Jeff Green, the guy that set on the pole. If you missed it at the outset, the front row for this race was even across. Elliott Sadler and Jeff Green both turned identical times in qualifying. Now take a look at Mark Martin. Here he is on the bottom.
Well, he is working on Jimmy Spencer.
He wants to get, he's had a shot at him in the middle of the corner a couple of times, but Mark's smart enough to know that's not the place to do it.
Bobby Labonte slows down coming into turn 3, headed for the pits. Bobby running in 22nd position.
Boy, that speed shot has certainly got chewed up out there. They're throwing up some rubber, as you can see, all over that lens as they come out of turn 3. Here they are back through the far end, of course, out of turn 2. We're out of turn 4, back into the main straightaway. 173 of 200 complete. Jimmy Spencer and Mark Martin dicing for first.
My biggest asset's my people. They're experts in soccer.
It's a guy who once, back in 1992, came from 3 laps down and won at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in Grand National Racing, is leading this event. He just doesn't give up. Jimmy Spencer in front, and he won't give any ground to Mark Martin. Martin will have to fight him and take it away from him. In second position right now, number 60. The third spot is Burton. Where is the Dick Trickle car? Well, it's fallen back. Trickle has some kind of a problem, it appears. He is now back to 12th position. And Randy LaJoie has come to 11th from 26 or 28th. LaJoie still storming through the field in these final laps. 180 this time by 270 miles complete.
You know, I like to watch Mark. He'll fall back, I don't know, 10, 15 car lengths. He's trying to get some momentum up to get around Spencer. He can't just drive by him. He's going to have to catch him. Mark's going to have a lot of momentum, and he's going to have to shoot by him somewhere. And Mark's got a better car than he does, but can't get around him.
Jeff Burton's in third, Bodine's in fourth, McLaughlin fifth, Parsons in sixth, and Buckshot Jones in seventh. Leslie there in eighth.
Right through the middle of that corner is where Mark really makes a big move on Jimmy, but he just can't quite get past him.
Tell you that Jeff Burton in that number 9, that third place car.
He has come into he's come into his own in this series this year, having a couple of great runs.
Looking at the field further back, you see Dale Jarrett back there in 25th. Bobby Labonte having some problems here today. He's fallen off the pace, but the front 3 couldn't have it better. Big knock on Jimmy Spencer for a lot of years that he was not only Mr. Excitement, but Mr. 2 Excitement. He's certainly driving a smooth and beautiful race right now.
I tell you, his car looks awesome. It's coming up off the corner just as smooth as silk, and he's got the horsepower to keep out front. It's going to be a real... One thing about it, I think Burton's sitting there, he knows when Mark goes, if he ever does, he's going to be able to go with him, but he's being real patient, too.
How are you going to get around that number 20 that keeps getting 12 feet wide?
He's got to slip up somewhere, or maybe some of the slow traffic they're going to get into, like we saw earlier with Steve Park.
Here they come now off the turn 4. They're running up on some of that traffic you're talking about, Darrell, as they come to the start-finish line. And the car number 40 moves to the inside, lets them go on by. So no problem at that time.
just in front of them, the 97, Doug Reed, the third.
Had a problem early on. Doug Reed, the third, did. Lost some laps, but still out there circling the track, running in 31st position right now.
Drops on the bottom. Lets him around the top. Into the lap cars and Grand National on the outside.
Boy, look how much time that cost Burton going around that car on the outside. That put Todd Bodine right on his back bumper.
CBS Sports coverage of the inaugural Coca-Cola 300 continues after this message and a word from your local station. Laps to go to decide it, and we have a new leader. Mark Martin has burst into the lead after an incident in turn number 2 for Jimmy Spencer. Martin now in front, and his teammate right there with him. Jeff Burton has fought his way up to challenge Martin now, or rather to challenge Spencer for that second position.
He just got off high off turn 2 there, and he had to get out of the throttle, and when he did, here come Mark, and I thought Burton was going to go by too.
Watch Burton come to the inside and not make it through.
Right there's where Jimmy said, I got to get back down in line. Boy, that was close.
I thought Spencer might have touched the wall over there, Ned.
It looked like he might have, but if he did it very lightly. Apparently no damage to his car, but he had to back off the gas. That was the key thing, and that allowed Mark to get a run as Jeff Fuller comes in for an unscheduled pit stop.
Into the final 10 laps.
Burton's all over the back of Spencer. I believe he's going to get him.
I'm sure giving it a shot, but Spencer doing a good defensive job out there, holds on to that second position. Burton trying to take it away.
Jimmy's done a great job, only to have taken on 2 tires. I tell you, that's a pretty admirable job.
Meanwhile, LaJoie from that 26 spot, he's up to 9th. He's ready to challenge Kevin LePage in the 88 for 8th. And what he's really concerned about is Todd Bodine, the number 36 in 4th spot. He had been left back there in 26. His battle for the national championship would have taken a real hit today, but he has fought his way back through with some of the most dramatic running of the day. Now here's Todd Bodine. Todd in that number 36 trying to give it a shot and hold on out here.
Well, certainly he's doing a good job of staying up there, gaining points, and that's or earning points, I should say. And here's LaJoie. He's still trying to pass Kevin LePage.
Now these two have knocked each other around for years up in the Northeast. Kevin LePage, who's been having a good run today, one of his better runs of the season, is in 8th, and LaJoie coming after him.
And I'll tell you another guy just ahead of them is not doing himself any harm today in point standings. Anyway, that's Phil Parsons. He's in 6th place and done a wonderful job today.
Hanging right in there.
He's all over the back of McLaughlin. He could get him before this thing ends.
He's working on him down in turn 1 as we watch Jeff Burton work on Jimmy Spencer.
Time trickling away, laps. Now we've got ourselves down to 7 to go. Here's Phil Parsons after McLaughlin. That's the battle for 5th. You're riding with Phil Parsons around this beautiful new Texas Motor Speedway. He closes down and tries to take one more spot. And McLaughlin, he's got his defenses up, varying that line, not giving Parsons any room to make a move. 6 to go this time.
There's Mark way over here on the left of your screen. That's him way out there. Look how far away he's gotten from Jimmy Spencer and his teammate.
You mentioned earlier you thought he had a faster car if he could ever get by, and I think you were right because he's pulled away once he got out there.
And isn't it funny, Ned, how you lead a charmed life almost seems like. Mark won Richmond because of an incident on the last lap, and here Jimmy Spencer looked like he had this thing maybe under control, and daggone if something didn't happen to him.
Just got a little bit wide, put the car pushed up on him, had to back off the gas. Martin was sitting there ready to take advantage of any little situation.
Is that when you need to be lucky?
And good.
And good. That's where Mark is right now. He's lucky and good.
And also that pit stop, as we mentioned earlier, for those 4 tires has helped him immensely here as we get down to 5. 5 to go for Mark Martin. 4 to go. Correction, 4 to go.
Well, his car just looks like it's on a rail running right down on the inside of that racetrack. Daryl, you hope yours will be that way tomorrow.
I tell you, I'd love it. You know, he can get that car like that everywhere he goes. It's not something he does every now and then. That thing's that way every week, everywhere he goes. good.
2 away from tying Jack Ingram, and last year winning 6th. He's already won 3 this year. Now 3 laps to go this time by. What's the story? What makes Mark Martin and this Roush car so dominant in Grand National racing when they bring it out?
Well, first of all, he's a great race driver. Certainly, he's proven that. He knows what he wants under that race car, how he wants it to feel after they run a while, and they are able to get that car set up. He has a lot of downforce on it, has good engines. He's got the whole package, everything that it takes right now, and it does take more than just the driver. It takes more than just the engine. You've got to have a good chassis under the car and have that chassis dialed in right.
Well, you think about Mark didn't win a Winston Cup race last year, but he dominated in the Busch Series, and he's doing it again this year about the same way. So there's a difference in the 2 cars, obviously.
You see that battle for second spot. Jimmy Spencer trying to keep Jeff Burton out of second place.
But I has come into that picture, too.
Riding with Jeff Burton. There's your leader, Mark Martin. Mark Martin has said, I'll take advantage of their weaknesses, whatever they may be. It may be different with different cars. White flag and 1 to go, and he took advantage of Spencer today. Spencer, for 1 moment, offline in turn number 2, and Mark Martin was there to shoot the gap. Into the final lap for his 22nd Super Speedway win. Mark Martin in front. It's still Jimmy Spencer holding on to second. Here's Martin getting into middle-lap traffic. But for the 30th time in his career, a Grand National checkered flag falls over Batesville, Arkansas's Mark Martin. A great run by Martin to get himself home into first place here with Jimmy Spencer driving to second and Jeff Burton across in third. And it was Todd Bodine for 4th.
And winning the first race here at the Texas Motor Speedway, that's got to be special.
And he started in 20th spot, so it's obviously you can pass on this track, and it doesn't matter where you start.
Mark Martin's done it as you ride with him now in the Winn-Dixie car to victory lane. You got to get down to victory lane. Mike Joy is waiting. First time they've christened this new victory area, and here's Mike.
Ken, 2 guys won this race, 1 in the car and 1 in the pits. Mark Martin, great drive.
Thank you. I just want to thank this team Winn-Dixie. Thunderbird, Goodyear had a great tire today. You could just run and run and run. Our car handled good, and we were good in the pits. And we started in the middle of the pack, way back in the middle of the pack, and just worked our way through. The car handled good. The longer the green flag, the better we did.
Bobby Leslie, you made that call on the final pit stop for tires. What led to your decision?
Well, it's not really one person's call. It's a whole team call, you know. And we get a lot of help from the Valvoline team and the Family Channel team and the team leader, Steve Mail. He helps us a lot and makes a lot of calls for us.
Well, it sure was the right one. Mark, they said this morning you couldn't pass here. You proved them wrong.
You know, the racetrack, heck, I won. I'm gonna brag on it, you know. Hey, Matt, Arlene, I wish you were here.
Congratulations. Here's Dick Bergeron.
Well, here's another guy that managed to pass a few cars. Jimmy Spencer started 24th and finished second. What a nice run today, Jimmy.
Yeah, but, you know, the guys had us come in because we were leaking rear end grease, and, you know, the Zippo crew did a heck of a job. They got it all fixed up, and we started 40th or wherever it was and come back, and we're leading the race, and, you know, I congratulate Mark. He's a hell of a racer, and he's good, you know, and my car was too tight. He took advantage of it. Hopefully I can get him next time I race against him.
How about tomorrow?
That'd be smart, wouldn't it, Dick? we got a Cup car. The Cup car's running good. The Camel 4's been running good, and I think that helped me this morning to practice. So, you know, we've had a tough year with the Zippo Chevrolet, and hopefully tomorrow will be our day.
Here's another guy that would like to have tomorrow be his day, and he has knocked on the door both in this series and in Winston Cup. Nice run for you, too.
It was a good run. We had a little problem in the pits there, and we got back probably 10th or 11th. I had to get real aggressive on a restart and go by some people on the outside. And once we did that, we knocked a fender in on the tire, and we had, you know, just getting aggressive, had to get track position.
Wait a minute. I thought you couldn't pass on the outside. What's this all about here?
Well, when you're 11th with 50 to go, you got to do something. So we made a move on the outside on the restart. That's about the only time you can do it, and got by quite a few people. And without that move, we would have finished about 8th, because once the race gets going, it was really hard to pass.
Let's go to Ken Squire. To Ralph Shaheen.
Well, we were waiting for Randy LaJoy to come out. Boy, what an up-and-down day you had. How do you feel about it now that it's all over?
It's over. Can't do nothing about it. I mean, Phoenix Chevrolet Monte Carlo run good all day. I think we had some for that 60 car, but, you know, we gave up. Some tire rolled across pits, and we had to go to the tail end of the longest line, and I had to do some digging to get back up there.
How about that? What do you do with that now? Will the crew talk about this? What'll be the situation? Do you know why it happened?
I just got away from the tire changer or the tire carrier or something. Nothing I can do. I tried I did my best job I can do.
Randy LaJoie tried to salvage a tough day.
And he did salvage a tough day. The results, the points, the story here at Texas Motor Speedway in its inaugural 300-mile race in a moment. We're back with you at the Texas Motor Speedway and pleased to have Blockbuster be a part of the great event, the first to be held at this great new facility. Take a look at the final standings today. Mark Martin in first, Jimmy Spencer second.
And Jeff Burton in third place. Todd Bodine came home fourth. Mike McLaughlin in fifth. You see the 7th through 12th place finishers there, all on the lead lap. In fact, there were 24 cars on the lead lap.
The average speed was 122.9 miles an hour. We had 7 drivers swapping the lead 8 times, or make that the other way around. 8 among 7.
There, Ron Barfield and Michael Waltrip were 1 lap down. Joe Bessie coming home 27th. You see the rest of the field as they had problems of various sorts. Of course, we saw Steve Park wrecked pretty seriously there.
10 cars failed to finish. When you talk about wrecks today, some pretty dramatic stuff. And the point standings, by 60, it's Todd Bodine over LaJoie, and then Phil Parsons is 73 back in third, followed by Jeff Green and Dick Trickle in 5th spot. And you're looking a little further back, Elton Sawyer, Buckshot Jones having a great season. And imagine Mark Martin, who just runs about half the races. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Well, we're with Buckshot Jones. Buckshot, I know you wanted better than 7th, but you did help yourself in the point standings. How did you feel about this day? What went right? What went wrong?
Our car was real good there at the beginning of the race, but it seemed like every time we pitted after that, put new tires on, our car just got tighter and tighter, and we kept loosening it up, but it did kind of the reverse. But, you know, to come down here for, you know, a new track and run in the top 10, you know, we'll take that.
And Kenny helps himself in the point standings.
He certainly does help himself in the point standings. And we'll be back with more here from Texas Motor Speedway in its inaugural day in a moment.